development session where we bring in all the teams, the entire team in the organization that is needed for the application development. This is done very rarely, only when there is some discrepancies, some misunderstandings or some unresolved issues. So because this is a very expensive meeting, because we're going to bring the architect and all the business people and everybody into it, even if it's for 1 hour, we have to really plan this very well and make the most of it. That's when the JAD is
Okay. And also, if certain companies, what they do is that they don't have enough time for conducting multiple meetings on daily or weekly basis. So what they do is they go with JAD session for requirement gathering mainly. So they will conduct maybe 2-3 workshops by bringing all these team members together, and they will try to wrap up everything in terms of gathering requirement and having understanding on requirements. So that is the major reason.
Okay.
Good, very good, Gloria, very nice. Newbie, tell me about content of a business requirement document. What is that you guys document in a business requirement document? Newbie, you are on mute.
Functional and non-functional requirement. And in functional, the task, how the program has to behave.
In a business requirement document, I'm not asking about FRD, I'm asking about BRD.
In the business, like overall requirement for the like the project, and how the I'm not able to explain.
Okay, Raji.
Sorry.
That's fine. Raji.
Yes, yes, Imran.
Business requirement document. Can you tell me what are the table of contents, or what are the titles in it? What you do, what you write in it?
The BRD, it'll have. Just give me 1 second.
Take your time.
The name of the document, the description, the actor or the person who's writing the document, and then the main flow, alternate flow.
No. Business requirement document. Soumya?
Yeah, Imran. So the business required document involves in scope, the out of scope for the business, and what are the risks involved, and it even gives the functional requirement and the non-functional requirements.
No, non-functional. And instead of calling functional, call it business requirement. BRD will have requirement. BRD will not have functional requirements. Okay, functional means when you already understand how that function or that business requirement will work, so that will become functional. That now their requirement is functional. BRD is basically business requirement where they ask question what is needed, not how it will be delivered or what is going to be the process flow or what is going to be the functionality. They won't explain that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yatin, you there?
Yes.
Tell me Agile Scrum process in brief.
Agile Scrum is a process where the meetings are done on day-to-day basis, where you tell what you have been able to achieve so far, what are the problems you're facing, and what's on the agenda for the project.
Okay. All right, Drashti, can you further explain it? What else happens in Agile Scrum? How the product is different?
So basically, Agile Scrum methodology is the incremental development process in which each iteration consists of 2 to 4 weeks of sprints. Each sprint has the goal to build the most important features first and potentially deliver the product. The more features are built, into the product in those particular sprints and are adjusted based on the client's stakeholders or the users requirement. And each sprint consists. Okay.
Very nicely put. That's fine. Gloria, can you explain me what type of communications you do during Agile environment, and with whom?
Yeah, there are Scrum team, daily Scrum team, where you have the developers, the Scrum master. Every day they discuss on the achievements that's just done in the previous day and the accomplishments that they're going to achieve the present day, and if there are any roadblocks. That is a daily Scrum. And then along with the product owner, there's sprint planning and estimation done before the development starts. That is like they plan on the velocity of the sprint, like how many user stories can be covered in how many sprints, and how many hours it will take in weeks. They'll decide on the story points during the sprint planning. And then there is a sprint review, like every sprint where they have to give a demo of a finished product, or the user stories that's completed, and the product should be able to be useful. And then the last one is the sprint retrospective meeting, which is like they go back and see what better we could have done, or how better things could have the development could have been, or the product could have been. So these are the four ceremonies of the Scrum. And
very nice. Yeah. That's fine, Gloria. Excellent. All right, Neha, what are different types of testings as a BA you have performed?
Hi, Imran.
Hi.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes. Neha, can you hear us? Hello? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, Imran.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Neha, please log in back. It's some connection issue. Newbie, can you explain me what type of testings you have performed as a business analyst? All right, Newbie not there. Pavitra?
Yeah, there are like static testing and dynamic testing. Static testing is basically like reviewing FRD and BRD and reviewing the code developer and reviewing the test plan and all.
Okay.
Dynamic testing is which include the white box testing, where the application which is inside and outside can be seen and tested, and black box is only the outside part where the only QA like testing team can be done.
Very nice.
And in black.
Very nice. Very good. Raji, within black box testing as a business analyst, what do you do? What type of testing you do?
Black box testing is where there is no, you're just looking at outside, it's opaque, it's not visible to you. So you can do UAT testing and CIT testing.
Okay. And one more. SIT
testing. SIT testing.
All right. So CIT, SIT, and UAT, that happens in black box. Now, who's going to tell me? Let me ask this. Neha, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
CIT and SIT testing. Can you explain me what is the CIT testing for a BA and how do you do SIT testing?
I didn't get a chance to revise. I just got back today, but I'll try. I think CIT testing is for SIT is on the real world. There is no dev in it, I think, and CIT is not in the real world.
It's fine. That's fine.
Like
prepare yourself on these questions. I'm going to ask you tomorrow again.
Okay.
Same question from Newbie. Newbie, tell me what is SIT testing and what is CIT testing?
I'm sorry, Imran. I didn't revise or I didn't get a chance like last 3 days. Sorry.
That's fine. Please
Imran,
revise.
can I finish it?
Yes, go ahead.
Imran,
Tomorrow, definitely.
It's fine. Please revise it. It's okay, guys. I'm not judging anyone here. I'm just trying to figure out how professional your answers sound, so then I can do some modifications. So it's okay. Make sure you guys prepare these questions tomorrow. I'll do a mock for you guys tomorrow as well. All right, go ahead, finish it.
So SIT is system integration testing. This is done on the dev environment. And CIT is component testing to see how the application, the functionality of the application is working properly or not.
Okay, very good.
From the outside.
As a BA, what you have to do in SIT and what you have to do in CIT, Soumya. Soumya, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. So SIT is the system integration testing, so which is done with one application which is not independent. Sorry, it is done in one system which is not independent. So we'll have to test the databases and the softwares in SIT testing. And in CIT, it is a component which will be done with the front end, which can be seen. That is the unit testing and the regression testing.
Very nice. You guys need to add one more point into it. If somebody asks you as BA what you do, you understand component and system integration testing, but you also have to say that within component integration testing, because we are checking the front end and functionality, so we'll be writing test cases and then we'll be executing those test cases to check the results. And then on the SIT side, because we are checking the databases and integration of the application with other application or other databases, so we need to make sure we prepare sample data and we run that sample data into application and then verify results with the integrated databases. So that is what we do. Everyone gets that point? What you do as a BA on CIT and SIT?
Yeah.
Can you repeat it, Imran, please?
Sure, Pavitra. So as a BA, when you work in your testing, which is functional testing or dev testing, you perform two type of testing, CIT and SIT, and then you help in UAT, which is basically same CIT, SIT, but it is done by the users. So your testing and user testing is same. So as a BA, when you're doing your testing on the component integration side, you're checking the front end. You're checking all the components, all the functionalities, log in till log out, every single function which has been designed. You're going to write down test scenarios or test cases, and you're going to run those test cases against every single function and record your results. So that is your CIT testing. When you talk about SIT testing, you are checking if your application has been properly integrated with the databases and if it is showing the right information within the application as well. So you will prepare some sample data like client IDs, transaction IDs, all those things, account numbers, and then you will run them in the application and you will see if the results which are being shown, they are matching with the databases. So that means your application has been mapped properly. So SIT, you prepare data to test, and then for CIT, you prepare test cases. Clear?
Yes, Imran. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yatin, tell me about data mapping. What is data mapping document or process?
Imran, I didn't get time to prepare on that. I have to watch the videos again.
Okay, that's fine. Sudha?
Hello?
Yes, Sudha.
Hi, Imran.
Data mapping document?
Data mapping document is basically you're mapping the data, whatever is retrieved to the tables. Like if in the database table, you have this data for employee ID, you put this in Excel, like, whatever data has to be pulled in the system has to be pulled from so-and-so table. So-and-so is table type. This is a format.
Okay, very good. So data mapping is nothing but identification of your data path, because your applications are nothing without information. Your information is stored in some databases, and you simply need to track down within which database each information is stored. For example, customer ID, your account number, transaction ID, and specifically in which table each attribute will be made available, and then what data type that attribute have or data format that attribute have. So simply identifying the process of mapping your application with the data. So that is called data mapping document. You put it on Excel sheet, and basically you use either SQL queries or Oracle queries to run and go through the databases, open each table, view those tables, and then identify their path. So that is the overall process. Very good, Sada. What is positive testing and negative testing? Question from Neha. It's okay. I know you didn't prepare, but I would like you to try only.
Yeah, could you repeat once again, please?
Positive test and negative testing.
Yeah, I'm totally blacked out. I don't think I remember anything right now.
That's fine. Ashwini?
Yes, Imran. Positive testing is nothing but when you write a test case to find out if the result is coming out as expected by the requirement. And negative testing is nothing but when you give the result, you're expected to get a negative result. Like example, if the requirement is that you have to give a password in a string character, then if you give it in integers, then you should get a negative result.
Perfect. Very nice.
Thank you.
What are different steps of UAT, Drashti? Drashti, you're on mute.
Sorry. So first of all, you need to identify a UAT team that who's going to perform the testing. Then you got to train them. And then you have to create the plan when you create and prepare the test cases. And then you have to prepare the environment kind of a thing, UAT environment. And then the test cases are supposed to be executed. And then if there are any issues, BA plays the role to communicate the issues, defects, and they help solving it. And then you get the final sign-off.
Very nice. What is RTM, Gloria?
It is a traceability matrix. So we trace the data, how it is mapped.
How
so we prepare
requirements. Yeah. How requirements
the data, how requirements are mapped. So we prepare a traceability matrix based on that.
Okay. Anyone else can say, newbie, do you know what is a RTM?
Based on the business requirement, we make a functional requirement, and based on that, we test the. Is it something?
Go ahead. That's right.
I mean, I'm just trying to remember from the class. Like I didn't revision at all. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. What are different types of defects? Of Pavitra?
Sorry, Imran.
That's fine.
I don't remember this.
That's fine. That's Raji. Types of defects.
I also don't remember, Imran, the types. I just know what this. I just know that defects can be categorized into high priority, low severity, then high severity, low priority.
That's fine.
High priority.
You don't need to need exact name like critical defects or major defects. If you can simply say they are critical, like we have high priority for certain defects. For certain defect, we have lower property, and then we have to manage these defects accordingly, like which defect should be worked on first, or which defect should be taken care of first. So that basically major, minor, critical defects, major defects, minor defects, cosmetic defects. Drashti, tell me defect life cycle. how do you handle defect lifecycle, or when defect is raised, what is the process of resolving it?
So basically, many BAs in many companies, they have a Jira board where you communicate the defects through that. You raise the ticket and you put down what are the defects going on, and then the testers or the users will reply you back on the Jira board itself. That's one of the ways to do it. Where I did my last project, I'm just making it up, okay? And basically, when I talk about the defect life cycle, it is the specific set of the defects through which it goes through the entire SDLC cycle. And the purpose of defect life cycle is to coordinate and communicate where the current stat, like where the defect is currently being holded up.
Yes.
That's whole defect life cycle. And how do you resolve that thing? That was the question, right?
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah. So basically, Jira board.
ठीक है. Gloria, what is an ER diagram? What it gives you?
I forgot about the ER diagram totally, Imran. I only know about the use case diagram and the sequence diagram.
Tell me what is the use case diagram?
Use case diagram is we draw a function or a requirement. It's a diagram where we show the requirement or a function where it has a primary actor, the secondary actor. It could be like a bank or a server or a software, and how it relates actor to the use case, and then there's also a linkage where we give the dotted lines for include use case, and then there's also extend. Extend is an optional, and we can also have a generalization, and then the use case will have a system boundary.
Very nice.
And then sequence diagram. You want me
Very
to
nice. That's fine. Ashwini, talk about ER diagram. What is ER diagram?
ER diagram is entity relationship diagram, which helps to create the data modeling. It shows how each application, the relationship between each application or entity or attributes of the functional requirements.
Okay, what are different types of data models which you can create through your diagrams?
Different types of data models will be conceptual model, logical model, and physical model.
Okay, very good. Pavitra.
Yes, Imran.
What do you understand about joins? What are different types of SQL joins?
Give me a second.
पेज के बताएंगे ना मुझे आपके पेजेस की आवाज आ रही है
I know.
It's okay. Drashti, go ahead and tell me about the same thing I asked.
Okay. I didn't thoroughly do SQL, but I have it on top of my mind. So different type of joins, right? That's what you asked me? Or what is the join? The exact question?
Yes.
What was the exact question?
What are different types
so basically
of joins? That's it. Like
okay, so in basically in a SQL query, when you're supposed to join two queries, which is interlinked, that is called joint query.
Two or more tables.
Two tables, it is to be interlinked. That is called the query. So that's what it is, joint query.
Okay. Ashwini, difference between conceptual, logical, and physical model.
The difference between the three models is that in the conceptual model, you will be able to identify the different entities. And in logical model, you will be able to identify the primary keys. And in the physical model, that is the final model that is developed by the team.
Based on your ER diagram, but your logical model is primary key plus interconnection or connection between tables or relationship between tables like one-to-one, one-to-many or many-to-many, and then rest of the information which should become part of each table, like rest of the data attributes, that also need to be identified in the logical structure.
Logical. Okay.
Okay. Raji, can you explain me what is ETL process?
Yes, Imran. ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. So you extract the data from various, source files. The data could be sitting on your Word document. It could be sitting in an Excel, or it could be sitting in any other database. And how do you extract that? And what information you specifically need from the source data, you map that to your target data. So basically, that's called the transformation, and then you load it wherever you need it.
Very nice. Yatan, what is the primary key in every table?
Currently blank, Imran.
Totally blank. Okay. Anyone else want to tell?
Yes, Imran, I can.
Oopsie.
Neha?
Yeah, I think it's the field in the table which defines the row in the database. It has completely unique values, and it cannot have null
values. Very
value.
good. Very good.
Like that.
Very good. Your SQL concepts will be clarified once you attend the sessions with Sir Darshan. So that is why I was not explaining you too much on that, because when you actually see how these queries are performed and you're able to see databases, then you'll have better understanding. So that is the reason. And I hope you guys went through that recording I shared with you, SQL industry training recording. One of my consultant, Hannah, she was giving that. So hopefully you guys went through that. If not, please go through that recording as well to make sure that you understand the basic queries. All right. So without BA, guys, there's nothing. Your training, I divide your training into 3 phases, BA and finance and resume. Your BA is only 20% of your training. Finance is around 30-40%, and then the rest 30-40% is your resume preparation. So a lot of work need to be done. But being said that, if you don't know BA basics, you cannot defend your resume. You know everything about your projects, you're talking about financial softwares and what you did and all that, but if they ask you a simple question, explain me Agile Scrum process, and if you're stuck on that, your interview is done. So the most important thing is the concepts of BA. Okay, so please let's do this mock tomorrow again, because I want to make sure that everyone does good today. I think Drashti, Gloria, Raji, Sudha, Ashwini, you guys did very well. Your answers are very professional. But tomorrow again I'll be asking few questions from you, but my main questions are going to be from Neha, Newbie, Pavitra, Soumya. You are very confident, but I want you to go through your course and make sure that you cover everything. You're confident. And Yatin.
Okay.
So Yatin, Soumya, Pavitra, Newbie, and Neha. So guys, most of the
Imran,
questions are going to be from you guys.
Imran, can we get 2 days time, please? Because I have to go through the sessions that I missed, because I mentioned this earlier. I wasn't present on 1-2 sessions.
Can I tell you one simple solution to this?
Hanji.
Okay, so simply go through, let's suppose you pick up this question, what is ER diagram? Okay, you copy it, you paste it in Google. You will get n number of readings, you will get very high level, very detailed level, whatever you feel making sense to you. Read it right away, have a copy and pen with you and record your answer there. Okay, same way, pick up, and then let's suppose if you're not understanding by reading from Google only those topics, you can keep on your copy and then you can play recordings later on. You don't need to play all the recordings right now. Okay, when you Google it, things will start making sense to you because I've already explained these things. But if you don't understand from Google, only then go to that topic and then start listening to it. So first thing you should be doing is taking these questions, trying to figure out the answer from Google, taking notes on it. Any topic which is not clarified, now you can listen. Make sense?
Yeah, okay.
ठीक है, ऐसे करोगे you'll find better answers and quick answers. And then later on, any topic which is still you're confused on, you can simply go and listen. It's okay guys, 2 days, don't worry about it. Let's try one more time tomorrow, and then if you feel that you're not confident, we can try one more time next time as well. It's totally fine. I can take thousands of mock interviews. Just want to make sure you guys are confident on your BA concept, and I'm not judging anyone here. I know you guys are not coming from same background. Okay, everyone is coming from a different field. This is a new thing for you, and we are trying to cover so many things in a very short and quick time possible. So I understand that, but then I want to see efforts. Okay, just make sure you guys go through these questions, and then if you're not able to find answer from Google or the notes I've shared with you, you only have to go through notes. Maybe notes will help you. I've sent you day 1, day 2 up to day 9. All course notes have been shared with you. You can open those slides as well, and you can go through those concepts randomly as well. All right, what I'm gonna do, because most of you have done good, around 5 people have done good, so I'm not going to waste this day. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload the capital market day 1, day 2 recording. Now this is not my recording. This is a recording by one of my consultant. He basically have worked in the capital market domain for almost 8-9 years. So he is explaining the basic capital market product, what are stocks, what are bonds, what are mutual funds, what are derivatives, what are portfolio management services, what are role of different managers and all that. So he's talking about his general experience, and he's giving example of his experience, so that you will listen. And tomorrow I will be summarizing that capital market. I'll be giving my lecture on capital market tomorrow. Once we are done with first 20-30 minutes, I'll spend on mock, and then rest of the 30 to 45 minutes I'll spend on covering capital market one more time. For the time being, you will be having this recording called Solomon, Capital Market Explained by Solomon. He have explained it very nicely. There's also slides. He's showing the content as well. I would like you guys to listen to it and then make notes. When I say make notes mean some understanding you can write down, and then some questions you can write down, which we can further discuss tomorrow. I'll be anyway going through the whole lecture again tomorrow, but it will be very helpful if you go through this recording as well. So I'm gonna upload it in next 5 to 10 minutes. Please, the people who are good in mock today, I've named Drashti, Gloria, Raji, Sudha, Ashwini. If you guys have time, you can start listening to it right now. Others can also listen to it, but before that, make sure you guys go through your basic BA concepts. Okay, so let me see, where is your capital market?
Imran, I had a question on what is RUP, Rational Unified Process?
So that is another approach, mix of both iterative and the traditional approaches. Rational Unified Process basically is no more in the industry. Nobody is using it. We used to teach it back in 2014, 13, 14, but there's no more RUP. Most companies, most projects are happening in either Agile or Waterfall. But I will ask you to just simply go through the notes of RUP in case if some company have a requirement that they're still working in an RUP environment, so you should know about it, but that is not being implemented anymore.
Sure, thank you.
All right, give me 1 second, guys. So this is your folder, and I'm gonna upload capital market. This is September, sorry, not November. Okay. Yeah, this is yours. I'm also loading my recording as well. So there are part 1, part 2 by Solomon, and then overall by myself as well. So I'm uploading all these 3. You guys can listen first, the one by Solomon. It'll be loaded in 5 minutes. Now, going back to these concepts, all right. These are the questions, guys. I'm gonna again give you a very high level answer on every question. You guys can listen to it. Guys can take notes. I'm going to be a bit quick. So please bear with me. Explain what is waterfall. Waterfall is a traditional software designing method which follows the traditional approach by implementing all 7 steps, starting from requirement gathering, analysis, design, coding, testing, implementation, and maintenance phase. When we work in waterfall environment, business users are certain about their requirements, so there's no question about change. Every step need to be finalized and finished before you move to the second step, and then you cannot start multiple steps at one point of time, and you cannot make changes within the process itself. On the documentation side, it would have only one FRD and one BRD. So that is your waterfall. Explain what is Agile Scrum. I think Drashti explained it very nicely. It was Drashti or Gloria, I'm not sure, but whoever explained it, they explained it very nicely. So Agile Scrum basically is an iterative method of designing softwares where software is broken down into different sub projects or components, and then we basically do development in the phases of 2 to 4 week timelines. Usually you will see 2-week timelines in most companies, and these cycles, development cycles, are called as sprint cycle. And the whole mechanism is based on adjusting to changes. You are facilitating your users to make changes and make adjustment to the project for multiple reasons. Could be any reason that which is basically bringing change in. When you work in an agile environment as a business analyst, you work closely with the product owner or subject matter expert in designing the product backlog, which is nothing but capturing all the user stories and then refining those user stories, and then eventually you move for your actual development through sprints. And before every sprint, you will have sprint planning, an estimation meeting where you will be checking which user stories are going to be part of this sprint and how much time we need. And then within sprint, the development will happen, testing will happen, and then the product will be shown to the business users through a meeting called demo. There are multiple types of meetings: sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective meeting, sprint planning and estimation meeting, and daily scrum meeting. All these meetings are there to ensure proper communication and transparency. Talking about sprint velocity is nothing but checking the speed, how much, what is your speed of your sprint. So by dividing number of user stories by number of days, you'll be able to find out how many user stories we can cover in one day, or how many user story points we can cover in one day. So that is your sprint velocity. Burn down chart is basically a mechanism to track down if you are running your sprint on a timely manner. So basically on your x-axis, y-axis, you will have number of story points, and on x-axis you will have number of days. And every day you will be finishing up, you will be burning up some user story points. So it will basically track down on daily basis how much activities, how much work you have performed in one specific sprint. Scrum meeting, you already know it. Sprint review meeting, you already know it. Sprint retrospective meeting, you already know it. Business requirement document is a high level document which will define the basic business need, objective of the project, scope of the projects, risk assumption dependencies, constraints, and then high-level business requirements. And also this document will have stakeholder engagements, name of all the stakeholders, reviewers, sign off, all the people who are going to be participant in this project. It will also have the list of those people. What is UML? Explain O and OOM. UML is Unified Modeling Language. That is a mechanism which is used. These are different types of diagrams, process flows, which basically are used to explain the requirement in a diagrammatic way, or basically supporting your BRDs or FRDs or user story documentation with help of these process flow, because your development team, they understand these diagrams better than the written documentation. So within UML, mainly as a BA, I've worked on use case diagrams, I've worked on activity diagrams, I've worked on sequence diagram. Use case diagram shows interaction between actor and one specific use case or function. How that actor is going to interact with that function, what are going to be the included and extended options, what are going to be the linkages, who are going to be the primary actors, secondary actors, so defining all these things. And we use Microsoft Visio or Lucidchart to draw these diagrams. OOA is object oriented architecture and OOM is object oriented modeling. Objects are nothing but people, places, functions, and we simply show the connection between these objects and we draw different types of models. One of the most important model or commonly used model is use case model. What is use case analysis? Use case analysis basically is a strategy which is used to define your requirement or basically gather requirement from the business users. You can also come up with very high level use cases, and then you can ask business users to provide their inputs so that you can have information, and then you can document that information. And then the second major reason of doing use case analysis is to support your development team in helping them in understanding requirement in a better way. Apart from providing them user stories or your FRDs or other documentation, you should be also providing them with these kind of use cases or activities or sequence diagrams so they better understand the system functionality. What is generalization? Include, extend. That is basically a flow in the use case diagram. Generalization is when your use case or when your function have two or more than two different streams. For example, if function says that you're able to post picture, but posting picture have further three sub function: post picture through camera, post picture through album, post picture through Facebook. So this is generalization when when your use case is being generalized into further different extremes. And then include, extend are basically within use case diagram. There are going to be certain functions which are going to be mandatory, which will be shown with the include sign, where arrow will face toward that included function or mandatory function. And extend signs basically within a use case diagrams represent an optional function, where now the arrow will not face toward that extend function or sub function, but it will mainly face back toward the main function or main use case. What is activity diagram? You already know that. What is sequence diagram? You already know that. Different types of messages. There's a send message, there's a return message, there's a decision box. There are different types of objects. So go through that. What is JAD session? Joint application development session is a requirement gathering as well as a problem solving technique where all the members of project teams are going to be there. Development team, business team, business analyst team, project management team, and the major goal is to bring all these people together to have a solution either on gathering requirement or either on fixing any issue you are facing in the project. BAs are going to be the one who are going to open up the agenda. They're going to take notes and all that. Development team is only going to be the observer. They are not going to speak. This session usually ends with a result. If you don't have result, you will continue the session next day and next day and next day, so on. Going to your testing part, test management process is nothing but once your product has been developed, you want to ensure if your product has been developed as per the functional requirements you have designed and sent to the development team. So you will start up by planning the testing by having two main phases. One is your static testing and one is dynamic testing. Within static testing, you will be doing document reviews, you'll be coming up with test plan, you'll be coming up with test cases, you'll be conducting multiple meetings, identifying roles and responsibilities, identification of timelines and all that. So that is basically static testing. Dynamic testing is the actual testing where there are two further types of testing. One is black box, one is white box. Black box testing will be done by the development teams. Basically, black box is something which is an application where you can see outside. So every application have a front end user interface part. So for a BA, application is like a black box because we cannot see inside, we cannot read the code. Who can read the code? Development team can read the code, the developers can read the code. For them it is a white box testing. Our testing will be called as CIT and SIT, and users testing will be called as UAT testing. CIT testing means checking each and every component, so you have to write test cases and then run those test cases against application and then record your results. System integration testing mean that your application need to be integrated properly with all the databases if it is getting information from databases or other applications. So you need to make sure that there's a proper integration. The data is passing through accurately, properly. So you'll prepare some sample data and then you will run it into application and you will try to see if the results which are shown in application, they are matching with the database results as well. Within UAT testing, you perform both these things, CIT, SIT, but because this is UAT done by users, done in a UAT environment, so they will be the one who will be doing this. I'll be helping them, supporting them by providing them training if they need, by providing them my test cases if they need, by doing communications between them and the IT team. Okay, regression testing means checking something again and again. Once you find out a defect, you raise the ticket for defect. Development team is going to fix that defect, and as a tester, you need to retest it again and again to make sure that ticket has been taken care or defect has been taken care. So that is regression testing. Steps of UAT, you already know that. Test plan and content. Test plan is nothing but a document which will define the overall process of testing in terms of what are different types of testings we are going to do, such as UAT, SIT, CIT, dev testing, QA testing, and all that. Then what are the timelines for each testing? What are going to be the tools we are going to use? Who are going to be the responsible parties? What are going to be the risk assumption, dependencies, and constraint? What is in scope of testing? What is out of scope of testing? All these things basically will be highlighted in your test plan. Should be developed by a QA, but you can also support in it. What is a test case? Test case is basically nothing but a mechanism to check if your functionality is working as per the requirement. So your requirement will become a test case, and for a test case template, you need to have a proper answer. Somebody asks you, how do you write a test case? So you'll simply say test case ID, test case name, test case description, precondition, and then main thing is your test case steps. And then once you are done writing test case steps, then you will have expected results, then you will have observed results, and then you will have pass fail criteria. What is positive testing, negative testing? Positive testing is basically ensuring your application is working as per the business needs. So running the test case simply by inputting all the steps which are part of your application and then recording your results. And negative testing mean by intentionally inputting wrong steps in your test case or in your application and see if it accepts those wrong steps. For example, when you're logging in, you will once log in with a valid password, valid ID, and then second time negative testing, you will intentionally put invalid ID or invalid password to see if application is letting you enter. So that is your positive and negative testing. You can do positive, negative testing on many functions. For example, there's a function called transfer of funds. So once you will do transfer of funds with valid balance, whatever balance is available, and once you will do transfer of funds with insufficient balance, that you try to put random number of like $10,000 transaction, but you only have $200, so the application should not respond to it. Negative testing is only done to make sure that your application does not respond to anything which is not part of your business or functional requirement. What is RTM? Requirement Traceability Matrix is a document which definitely helps you in the testing phase. Once you find out a defect, you can identify the root cause for that defect. So by linking your requirements, business requirement to functional requirement and functional requirement to use cases and use cases to test cases, you'll be able to identify the root cause. So let's suppose there's a defect in one of the test case. You will go and read that test case steps. If that has been written properly, then you will go and check from which use case this test case is coming from. So you can see if the use case workflow was given right. Then you can see if this use case is coming from a functional requirement or a user story. Then you will read the user story document and see if user story was written properly or not, and then so on. You can go back and check from which business requirement we created this user stories, if a business requirement itself is accurate or not. So identification of root cause basically is the one major mechanism which RTM provides you. You can do forward traceability as well as backward traceability. Backward traceability mean during the testing phase, during the defect identification process, you can go back. And forward traceability means once you are designing this document from day one, you will be able to visualize how many functional requirements can be coming out of this business requirement, and from these functional requirement how many test cases can be created. So that visualization basically part of your forward traceability. Defect tracking lifecycle basically is nothing but once defect is identified, that defect need to be logged, the defect need to be raised, ticket need to be created, that ticket need to be assigned to a developer so that he can test it, and then he can work on it, fix the issue, and then retest it, and then assign ticket back to the BA or the tester who was checking it, so they can retest it, and if everything goes well, they can close this ticket. Classification of defect, already told you, critical, major, minor, and cosmetic. Critical defects need to be raised as soon as possible. Quality Center overview. With this module briefly described, Quality Center is nothing but a test management software like Jira, where you have multiple modules within this software, but most important modules are going to be your test library, your requirement module, your test library module, and your defect module. Requirement module is nothing but where you can upload all your documents, FRD, BRDs, or user stories. And then a test case module basically, or test library module basically, will provide you with the test case templates where you can put down the test cases, you can save these test cases, and you can also link these test cases back to the requirements which are you already have entered in the requirement module. So linkage can be done as well. And then you can also run your test cases from test library by doing stop and start. And then you can also record your results if it is passed or failed. So all the information is stored in your Quality Center tool. It is a centralized tool, everyone will have access to it. And then defect module, you can raise your defects and you can resolve your defects there. So that is basically a Quality Center tool which can be used if you're working in waterfall environment. They can use this tool. Mostly in Agile environment, they will be using Jira to defect logging, defect tracking, and all those things. What is black box? You already know that. What is ER diagram? ER diagram is an entity relationship diagram which basically is used to create data models, conceptual, logical, and physical model. Entity relationship diagram have 4 major steps. First of all, you have to identify all the entities, which is nothing but tables. Second thing is how these tables are interlinked with each other. So type of relationship need to be defined, one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Third thing is going to be your identification that every table is going to have one primary key. So what is that primary key? Identification of each table's primary key is the third step. And then your fourth step is going to be what other information will be part of each table. So let's suppose if your primary key for student table is student ID, then what other information will be part of student table? So of course, student name, student date of birth, so student social security number, student contact detail, student address information, all those things basically are going to be also identified. And that is your whole ER diagram. These 3 further steps are part of your logical model. Your first step, identification of entities or tables, is part of your conceptual model. And once this diagram is given to the database design team, and based on your diagram they design the data warehouse, and they move all the data which they've already transformed. That is your final physical data model. And you use Irwin Data Modeler or Microsoft Visio can be used to create this. Normalization, denormalization. Normalization basically is a proper view of your database where your data has been distributed in multiple tables. It is highly organized database. OLTP systems, normalized data would not be used for reporting purpose but for the operation purposes. Most of your OLTP system, daily online transaction processing system, they are your normalized data sources. Denormalized data mean your data is dumped into less number of tables. That mean you might have duplicacy in your data, redundancy in your data, some issues in your data, but mostly your data warehouses, they store denormalized data, and denormalized data is majorly used for reporting and analysis purposes. A star schema, snowflake schemas are nothing but design of your database, schemas of your database. Star schema will have one central fact table connected to multiple dimension table. A fact table always stores numeric information, and dimension tables mostly store static information. A star schema is a simplified schema. Most databases will be using star schema, but if your database is an OLTP database or a normalized database, then you'll be going for a snowflake schema where you might have more than one or more than two fact table, and these fact tables are connected to different dimension tables, and dimension tables are further connected to sub dimensions. Like for example, a customer information will be stored in first customer table, then customer address table, customer KYC table. So three tables have been created for customer, even though they can store it in one. But because it is a snowflake schema, it is going to be a normalized database. It is going to be a database which is used for reporting purposes. They need it to be highly organized. So that way they will store it in snowflake schemas. Explain candidate, primary, alternate, surrogate, and foreign keys. These are all the keys or the columns in your database. Primary key is a unique key column which differentiate every single record in a row. Primary keys mostly are your customer IDs or transaction IDs. It is the first column, and that field can never be null. It will always populate record. It cannot be left blank. Alternate key is a key which can be used in terms if you're not able to have identified primary key, then there could be any other alternate column which can be used. For example, your school database can also have a primary key of student ID as well as primary key of your email ID, because all the email IDs are also going to be unique. So any key which can become primary key that can be called candidate key or alternate key as well. Okay, Raji, that's fine. I'm anyway finishing. Explain difference between conceptual, logical, and physical model. You already know that. I just explained it. What is data warehouse and data marts? Data warehouse is set of different data repositories of one company. Data warehouse is centralized source for reporting and analysis purpose. Data marts are the further subdivision in your data warehouse, and each mart will store a specific information. For example, there will be a customer mart which will only store all the customer of your company. There will be a product mart which will store only your product level data. So same on your data warehouse is a centralized database which have information of all your data within one company, and that will be used mainly for the reporting and analysis purpose. And within your data warehouse there are specific data marts which further store specific information on clients. OLTP, OLAP. OLTP is online transaction processing systems which store your day-to-day data. For example, ATM machines, mobile applications. These are your daily transaction capturing system. They do not store data for long time periods, so that is why data need to be transferred. Data need to be transferred or moved from these OLTP systems into the databases or data warehouses using a process called ETL. OLAP are your basically databases or data warehouse. also called online analytical processing system. These are the basic database of companies which store the current as well as the historical information. They don't have any space issue. So most of your OLTP, OLAP systems are going to be either in SQL Server or Oracle. Explain forward and reverse engineering. Forward engineering or reverse engineering. Reverse engineering basically is basically when you are breaking down, for example, you already have a software which your company owns. They're calling it, let's suppose, a legacy system. Now you want to do reverse engineering on it, so you will start from the test cases. You will check the testing results, you will check how many test cases were written, then you will go back and you will check the development code and all that, then you will go back and check the FRDs or user stories, then you will go back and check the BRD, so that breaking down your application into multiple components and analyzing those components, because you want to maybe make some changes into it or some enhancements into it, so that can be called as reverse engineering. And then same way forward engineering. Explain ETL, extract, transform, and load. It's a process whenever your data need to be migrated, whenever your data need to be extracted and stored into a separate place, that will need a process called ETL, extract, transform, and load. As a business analyst, you provide data analysis responsibilities, as well as eventually you will be able to provide a data mapping document so that your ETL team can extract data based on the mappings you have provided. Explain data mapping document is nothing but the path of your data, identification of 4 things. Number 1, first of all, you will be given data requirement, that these are the data attributes or the informations we need. Can you map it? So you will, first thing you will find it which source system is storing these information, and each information is coming from which table, and what is the data format for each data attribute. So that is your mapping document. Explain difference between having and where clause. Where clause and having clause, you will simply go through the recording I've shared with you. Just go through that. Same thing, inner join, outer join. Whenever you need to join you need to pull information from multiple tables, you need to join those tables. How do you join them? Using join function, left outer, right outer, and inner join. What values it pulls, please go and read it. So that is your overall all these questions. Anyone have any question? Otherwise, I'll be starting my next session, and you guys can give me a mock again tomorrow. All your recordings have been loaded. Please make sure you guys go through these recordings.
We are doing it as expected to kind of
I have a question. What is the difference between reverse traceability matrix and reverse engineering?
So reverse, no reverse engineering. Our requirement traceability matrix is a different concept. In reverse or forward engineering is a different concept. So what is requirement traceability matrix? Now, when you are documenting your requirements, for example, you only have gathered business requirement, you will put them in first column, all your business requirements. And then later on, you'll be able to gather functional requirements. So you will put that in your second column. Then you'll be able to break down your functional requirement into use cases. You put them in your third column. And then from use cases, once you go into a testing phase, you'll be able to create so many test cases. So you'll put them in fourth column. Now, let's suppose within your testing, you have a defect and you identify that there's one function which is not working fine. So what you can do is, with the help of this document, you can actually identify and track easily where this test case is coming from which test case, from which use case, from which functional requirement, and furthermore from which business requirement. So finding out the root cause. So that is basically the purpose of using requirement traceability matrix. And during testing, you do reverse traceability. You can also perform forward traceability, which basically is not generally done. Forward traceability is once you have business requirement, you can visualize how many future functional requirements can be taken out of these. And if you have functional requirements, you'll be able to visualize what kind of use cases you're going to build in future. Or if you have use cases done as well, you'll be able to visualize how many test cases we're going to have in future. So it's just a futuristic approach how we are moving forward. That is forward traceability, and actual purpose of this document is reverse traceability when you are finding issue during your testing. Now, talking about reverse engineering or forward engineering, that's a simple concept. Reverse engineering basically is you have something already, but you want to break it down to have better understanding of it. Maybe you don't have documentation on it. For example, an application was designed back in 2002 or 2003, and you don't have any document on it. You don't have any BRD on it. You don't have any FRD on it. So reverse engineering here will mean you have to come up with all these documents by observing this application and thinking of it as that this is from scratch. I'm going to write all these documents. So in some projects you might be involved in responsibilities performing to come up with all the documents. Application is already designed, but they want you to build the documents again. So that can be called as reverse engineering. I'm not sure about the process of forward engineering. What is forward engineering? Anyone knows what is forward engineering? Let me Google it. Hold on.
Imran, I have prepared notes for these questions. So if you
Yes,
want
please.
me to,
Please.
Yeah, I have written this in my notes after searching on the net and gathered all this. So forward engineering is a method of creating or making an application with the help of the given requirements.
Okay, good.
Forward engineering is also known as renovation and reclamation. Forward engineering is required high proficiency skill. It takes more time to construct or develop an application. So it would be like this: system specification, and then next step is design and implementation.
So basically,
and it would
like
create
a new
the
project.
new system.
So basically, like a new project.
Like what we generally do. What we generally do
so that
is
forward
engineering.
Okay, and
Then reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is also known as backward engineering. It is the process. In this process, it is the reverse of forward engineering. In this, the information are collected from the given or existing applications. It takes less time than forward engineering to develop an application. In reverse engineering, the application are broken into extract knowledge or its architecture. So the process flow is like this. First, we study the existing software, then it will lead to understanding and transformation. And from there, it will create the re-engineering new system. So this is the process flow. So for an existing thing, we are creating or duplicating with little modifications or something like that, then maybe we can call it reverse engineering. So we are not inventing a new thing altogether.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Vasanta. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You guys can log out. I have a next class. Please join back tomorrow. I've uploaded the sessions on capital market. I would like you to listen and make notes on it.
Thank you, Imran.
Thank you, Imran.
Thank you so much.
Imran.
Thank you.
Yes, Soumya.
Yeah, Soumya here, Imran. Yeah, so I've shared the ER diagram with you. I haven't heard anything from you, so
yeah, I've
just
checked
wanted to
it.
check if
Yeah, I've checked it. Thank you so much for that. Everything is good in there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Imran. So it's our batch right now. Hello.
Yes, Vasanta.
Yeah, it's a next batch right now. You have completed the previous one, right?
Apna batch hai. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So, Imran, I didn't get the link to the mock interview. That is one point I wanted to raise with you.
I'm talking to
someone. So, आप बोल रहे थे. Yeah. So, if they want to do with Sahas, that is also fine for me. No issue. I mean,
I'm asking him what you wanna do.
Okay.
Hold on. And Vasanta, make sure when you go for final graduation, you have a professional dress.
Okay. Okay.
ठीक है, प्रोफेशनल ड्रेस पहन के बैठना फाइनल ग्रेजुएशन के लिए लाजमी है, इम्पोर्टेंट है.
Yeah, definitely.
ठीक है. Trupti and Grace, I'm sending your documents to Sahas. Have you guys uploaded your PDDs?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Well,
I know
no,
Trupti already.
Yes.
Okay, so
no, for me.
I'm sharing your email right now. I'm gonna CC both of you there as well. So Sahas will be sending you link. I'm not sure if you can do it today, but definitely tomorrow. So please be ready. Review everything. Review your BA questions, your project stories. Make sure you do your best with Sahas. Soon you're done with him, he'll put you through MAM so that you can do final mock and then go and mark it. So Trupti and Grace, I'm gonna email in a few minutes. I'll CC you there as well. Now, Sudha, what's going on with your project? Have you worked on it?
Yes, Imran, I've worked on it, and in fact, I've sent you an updated one. I just wanted to discuss in detail with you if you have some time.
Yes, definitely. And
Yeah.
Vasanta, I've already left message to Sahas. Let's see what he does. He'll get back to me and I'll reply you as soon as he reaches me out. I'm gonna ask him one more time. Hold on 1 second. And if possible, can you arrange her final call? Okay, Santa, I'll give you update on it. I'm ask him to put you through directly to ma'am. Okay. So that मैं email कर लूँ फिर आपसे मैं करता हूँ. ठीक है? Give me 1 second.
Ab finish kar lo, I'll wait, not a problem, because I need some time.
ठीक है.
Yeah, you can finish with the rest. Yeah.
हाँ मैम बस एक email रहती है. Okay, I've CC'd you both in there.
Okay.
So once he emails back, he will send a link. Make sure you guys are ready.
Imran.
Yes, Grace?
I think the one I did was the job description. The JD. That's the one you asked me to do.
Download, do it right now. It's simple document. Will take only 10-15 minutes.
So which format am I gonna use?
Oh, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, Grace.
Yes.
This document. Okay, duration of the project, project 1, project 2, project 3, just 3 recent projects. Company name, company address, is Google it for the time being, your address, Google it where you were living, team size, project type, copy paste the project goal, methodology was Agile or Waterfall, requirement gathering techniques, just 2-3 like interviews and sessions, functional requirements. So this document I'm sending you, fill it up, PDD document, okay? Fill it up, upload it as soon as possible.
Imran, this document which you shared as usme use case, sample use case and all, I don't think I saw all those things in that. वो सब नहीं थे हमारे में. So should we add those also?
Can you repeat it again, Vasanta, please?
वो जो sample use case etc. that was there in the last column, only hardware, software was there. Project type, team composition and all was there. That sample use cases are functional.
Simple your functional requirements.
Yeah.
You simply have to write down in use cases same thing as well. So all your functional requirements are nothing but your use cases. So same functional requirement and same will become use cases. And when say functional requirement, for example, you have a AML project. So what are the functional requirement of your Actimize system? Alert tracking, alert escalation, monitoring your transaction, resolution of alerts, tracking, all those things. So these are functional requirements.
So
everyone is good now.
We should keep them ready for every project then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So in the same document, Imran, I had one doubt. So this your address column is like once we are finalized with the company and the company address, then we can search some proper address nearby the company location, and then we should fill it,
once
right?
you are done, you will get the references from Sahas, and then he will tell you the names and everything as well.
Okay. So Imran, yeah, मेरे को कुछ पूछना था, like we were in the middle of something. So one thing I wanted to ask is, in this Seeker project, like if I get a question, like it came to my mind, so I'm asking. I don't know if I get a question such questions or not. So what were the deadlines or the timelines for filing these things? Maybe it is annually, monthly and quarterly, that much we already know, and 9C is there. मतलब अक्टूबर का 14M, what is the deadline for filing October's 14M?
So 9C is monthly, 14Q is quarterly. So after every 3 months, I think March 28th, 29th, 1st, and then April, May, June, then July, August, September. And then your annual report, which is 14A, it used to be submitted back in September. Not sure right now if they've changed the timelines.
It's March.
It's March now. Okay, so that is submitted
It's March.
in March.
Actually, I read it somewhere. On the net for big bank holding companies, very big ones. It is January 5th, and for all other small ones, it is March. Yeah.
Okay,
so the bigger ones have to be ready and prepared and get it done by January 5th.
No, yeah, you can simply Google it as well.
Yeah, नहीं मिला मेरे को सीधा आंसर. I didn't get, so that's why I was asking you.
लेकिन the quarterly तो just quarterly ना, after every 3 months and end of last week of the 3rd month. So quarterly is quarterly, monthly is monthly, every month.
So quarterly मतलब next quarter के पहले करना है. So suppose September quarter का 14Q should be filed before December 31st, right? That is what you are telling?
Yes.
You get 1 quarter for filing quarterly, 1 month for filing monthly.
Okay. Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Imran? Yeah, and what in my final question is, Imran, if you were to answer my Seeker project के बारे में अगर आपको बोलना था, तो मतलब वो front end back end का मेरे को अभी भी clarity नहीं आ रहा है. तो which part I am working, how should I present?
Okay.
बस 2-3 मिनट में थोड़ा help कर दो.
To the recording I shared with you.
Yes. Recording I have listened. It is talking about 14A line items and he is talking about MDRM reference number that would be generated, you know. That MDRM का reference ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं मिला हमको. I and Trupti are working on this together
actually. For example, first thing in this process is going to be designing a centralized risk data mart or risk data warehouse. ठीक है? All the data from different departments will be brought in, cleaned up, and then one final number will be generated for all the loans, for all the services, for all the credit cards, for all the revenues, anything. There would be a final number. Let's suppose your loan final number in your MDRM is $30 billion. Now, when
that is the line item, right? Loans is the line item.
It's a loan ke andar loan ID is a line item, is nothing but data attribute. Okay.
Imran,
loan is
individual records.
Reports are going to have schedules, and schedules are going to have line items. So for example, one of your 14Q report have a schedule called loan. So that is a schedule.
Okay.
For loan, you have to gather all the data attributes which are line item: loan ID, loan amount, loan name, interest rate.
Oh, fields. Okay.
So fields.
Okay.
And now once you're generating the report, you're mapping your data into this Axiom tool, and once it return you results, let's suppose the total number it generated for loan was 3.1 billion. Now your data warehouse MDRM, the final number is showing 3 billion. Here it is showing 3.1 billion. So that means there is some kind of variance. So by using a pull down function within Axiom, you'll be able to identify root cause ke kahan pe mapping ka issue hua tha, variance kahan se aaya, if there's a mapping issue. So that can be done. So you can do both ways. One is the automation of Axiom tool, and then doing calculation on variance and supporting that. And one you can do is the centralization of data warehouse, because you need to understand that your data warehouse which you are centralizing, that will be taking feeds from every single data source, billions of records, which is not an easy part. It will continuously keep on updating, keep on happening. Same thing when you are automating your Axiom, it will take so many years. They are doing it since 2013, 12, 13, and still not able to automate everything. I was talking to one of my consultants in State Street, and she said that it was back in 2017, I guess. She said we only have automated 7%. 93% is still not automated. So that means they continuously have
so
to.
So how do they do if they don't automate? How do they handle?
So
how
they
keep
take
the field?
numbers from
how
the
Excel mein karte
MDRM.
hain?
All those numbers are ran into the calculators, formulas, and all those things. So they do it manually. For all the parts which are not automated.
Excel mein karte honge na?
Still they are doing manually. Few things they're still doing manually.
तो मतलब वेयरहाउस से जाके एग्जाम में इंजेस्ट होने के बीच में और भी मैनुअल होता है.
हाँ और भी मैनुअल होता है.
Imran, I have a question. When you mention Imran, this is Trupti.
Yes.
When you talk about this MDRM, it's a particular just one number, or it defines the whole. I don't get it. Like when you say
all the calculations from different securities, different sectors of they are finally will have one final number, and that will be generated in an MDRM, master data repository. Okay, your data warehouse will have MDRM numbers, MDRM placeholders, where for example, all the loans, all the credit cards, all the investments you have made in securities, all the investments you have made in fixed income, their final number. So the final number of all your schedules. So I'm talking about schedules. Every report has schedules, and these schedules will have the final number, which is called MDRM number.
Okay, so
So that is more or less like Trupti. मुझे लगता है Imran, tell me if I'm wrong. So this is the consolidated last final figure for one schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this will go and sit in the 14A for all these schedules. This MDRM figure will be populated there in schedule A summary.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole concept.
Yeah, so this is the aggregate number, Trupti, aggregate that we saw in the Axiom tool aggregation. So all these millions of records for one credit card thing will be consolidated, applied with the formulas as per the scenarios and risk-based approach. And then that final figure will be arriving for each type of category, each type of schedule.
Exactly same
एक
thing.
figure
For example, your
Yeah.
centralized risk data warehouse have multiple data marts. Okay, because you're storing
Okay.
hell lot of data, so you're breaking it down into multiple marts.
Okay.
So one of your mart is loans,
Mm.
one of your mart
Okay.
is products, one of your mart is
Okay.
credit card, one of your mart is leasing if you're doing car financing. So once data is stored in these marts, you will be able to generate a final number as well. That final number goes into MDRM. And then when you are mapping this
Okay.
data warehouse to those specific report schedules, when the Axiom is going to generate results, now you'll be able to match and cross verify if Axiom's final number is matching with that MDRM final number or not. And if it is not matching, that means there's a variance. So how you are going to
Yes,
define
the
variance?
difference,
There
right?
is a drill down function. Axiom is simply like Excel. You have used Excel, you use macros on Excel, same like Excel. It have formulas ingested into it. And then there's a function called the drill down function. Once you click on that drill down function, it will run drill down and it will see where was the,
Yeah.
what is the issue. Either
Yeah,
there's an issue
that
in
is
the map.
the lineage view where you can track the requirements to the final result and
Yeah.
from the
Exactly.
final result to back to the requirements. But
Exactly.
Imran, isn't MDRM a number which is generated in the Axiom tool?
No, that would be generated with the data warehouse itself. Axiom will generate its values, which can be verified with that data warehouse MDR. MDRM basically is the master data repository for the data warehouse, where the master numbers are stored, the final numbers are stored.
So MDRM वहां पर arrive करने के लिए उसका logic या उसका PLSQL या calculation, who will prepare that calculation to calculate that MDRM?
ETL teams will do that.
ETL team will. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Imran, Imran, I have a question. So, like, if you can explain me the path, I mean, not exactly the path, like how this flows, like from the centralized system, it would be transferred to this MDRM, and then it will go to the Axiom tool. Is that how it works? Or
MDRM is part of your data.
MDRM is a calculation.
It's already a
MDRM is a
final calculation. That's a
Trupti.
part of your data warehouse. Give me 1 second. So let's suppose this is Bank of America, and we are doing a project called Sql reporting. Bank of America have multiple databases where their information is being stored. Yes, Grace. Some projects are going to be 9 months, 1 year, 1.5 half year. So keep it around that. Okay. All right. Thank you. So these are multiple databases. They store multiple type of information. Some store customer products, some store loan level data, trading data, all that. Now you need to, first process is that you will be given requirements. That is going to be called your data requirements. That from each business database, you need to gather these requirements and identify. So as a BA, what you need to do is you will be given access to, let's suppose, one source, and you need to perform analysis on it and eventually provide mapping of all those attributes which have been given to you. Other database will be given to another BA, and they will do analysis and mapping, so on. Once all the mappings are done, these mappings will be shared with the ETL teams, who will run the ETL process completely, and then eventually once data has been transformed and cleaned, it will be brought into a data warehouse or risk database, which will have multiple further marts: customer mart, loan mart, product mart, XYZ mart, and then there will be one MDRM placeholder where the final numbers are given, the amount is given, that what we are seeing, and then from there you will be utilizing this risk data warehouse now because it has been cleaned properly, and then you'll be ingesting all these data in a tool called Axiom. So for example, you're running FRY9C, so it need balance sheet and income statement line items, they need to be mapped here so it can run. So you will be simply going into the data warehouse of balance sheet and income statement, and you'll be trying to find out which table, which column it is coming from, and you'll be providing that mapping into Axiom as well. And once Axiom runs it, it will generate results, and now you can verify the results back to the data warehouse MDRM, and if there is a variance, you can use a function called a drill down function to identify where is the breakage point, where is the lineage, what is causing this variance to happen. So this is the overall process, and then if everything goes well, then eventually this report will be generated and that will be submitted after verification.
Yeah, there is one attestation. There is one attestation module also in Axiom. The just chief financial officer or somebody, they will
So he
attest
will
with
do
their
the
digital
attestation, they will
signature
verify,
or something. Yeah,
they are the one who will
yeah,
be signing it off, approving it.
yeah.
It's a mid to board, right?
Yes. Yeah, so this MDRM is like, you know, पहले से आपने कुछ calculation करके total you have arrived some figure, and from the Axiom what is coming out, with that you have to cross verify and see that both are tallying. Trupti, that is what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. So before calculation, after calculation, both should tally. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Imran. You know, you took all the time again.
If you go on Federal Reserve website and simply write down MDRM, or simply just Google MDRM, Micro Data Reference Manual.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be able to find out on that as well.
Yeah. Me and Trupti both have CCAR project. So, you know, कल पूरा दिन हम वो Federal Reserve के website में ही थे. We were like, we even downloaded the forms to seeing, we were looking at the schedules and the loan items, what type of classification and all. Yeah, पूरा thorough होने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, so that, you know, we'll have an idea.
Doing that,
Yeah.
will be much more confident and comfortable.
Yeah.
And guys, believe me, this project might seem very tough and all that, what type of reports, but it is not tough project. If you know your SQL, and you'll be able to open tables and able to help in mappings, then this is the right project for you. Alright guys, so I will
last question.
update all of you on your status. You will be anyway getting an email from Sahas as well, and I'll be updating you as well. Right now I'm going to work with Sudha. If you have any question, you guys can ask me, otherwise you guys can log out.
Imran, last question.
Yeah, one last question. Okay, Trupti, go ahead.
So is it like, I'm just putting a basic understanding when you say that it's like from the general ledger, you know, I mean, I'm talking about from my field, like from the general ledger, we prepare the final balance sheet and we put the final figure of all the schedule. Is that the MDA in this?
Same thing as your concept of trial balance. You have a concept of trial balance where you can do trial balance by relating it to your balance sheet as well as the general ledger information, and you have to make sure that all the entries are matching. Same is the concept here as well.
Okay, so Imran, this is not just plain totaling, but there will be some calculation, some formula given by risk managers for arriving at MDRM, right? This is
analysts are going to work with you in this project, and they will be doing all these calculations.
Okay. Yeah, it's just not plain consolidation like.
Imran, when you talk, when you say, this is last question, actually last question. When you say that here the multiple on the multiple database, multiple BAs would be working, right? So are we supposed to go through the ETL process even though we are I mean, as a single BA, we are working on the only one data source.
No. Your roles will be divided. Maybe some are working on the back end, some are working on the front end side. As I said, continuous data warehouse optimization will go on forever. You have to optimize your data warehouse for this project forever. So some people will be always working on the back end, getting in new feeds, new customers are coming in, new information is coming in, maybe you open up new departments, maybe you expanded your operations in certain other territories. So all that need to be done. And then some guys, some BAs will be working with the front end side who are working on the reportings and trying to automate the Axiom process. So some will be working on that side as well by getting the access of the dev environment of Axiom. They will give you access to the dev environment. So when you're mapping it, even if you make any mistake, it's fine because it is a dev environment. So you will be helping them in mapping it. You'll be helping them in identification of variance, report testing. All these things can be done. So one or other can be chosen, or both at the same time can be chosen as your responsibilities, depending on the timeline of your projects.
No. My question was that if since there are multiple data warehouse, right? So we will be performing ETL process still here, right? Even if we are working on we are assigned for only one data house.
Mostly, yeah, you will be assigned specific schedules and specific databases. I've seen 17 BAs working in CCAR projects. They have maybe 5 different Scrum teams, because if you have 17 BAs, you cannot run them in one Scrum team. So there are 5 to 6 different Scrum teams running, with every Scrum team size 9 to 8 people, and they are working on their dedicated databases and they are working on their dedicated reporting and all that.
So they are responsible for one schedule, like, right? So there will be multiple BAs and each will...
You can say one report maybe. Okay. If you're talking about I was working in FY 14Q, then you can further simplify that. My role was mainly on working on these schedule, security schedule, loan schedule, so providing mappings, providing support to ETL team, doing variance and calculations that can be done. Okay?
Even I guess I'm not making it clear. My question is about the ETL process. I mean, when you talk about the ETL, you say that when you are transferring data from the multiple data source, then you need to perform the ETL. If it's just one source, then you just provide a simple data mapping document, right? So my question is that since here
that's not right statement. Anytime you need to transform your data, even if it is coming from one source or multiple source, you will do ETL. It is the business requirement which will tell you if they need transformation or not. Multiple source definitely need ETL. One source, that is the decision by the business team if they want to directly ingest that data into application without performing ETL, or they think their application will not support the formats they are already having, so they might also run ETL as well. So that is not a right statement.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, got it.
So Imran, what ETL tool should we mention if we face a question like that?
Cognos, Informatica, mostly
Informatica. Okay.
Yeah.
SSIS.
Okay. Yeah. So Axiom is also substituting Informatica and such other tools. So should we mention if they ask like that, Axiom is directly taking from the data source?
Axiom is not ETL tool. Axiom is reporting tool. Axiom के through report generate होती हैं. It is not ETL. ETL tool के through data transform होता है, change होता है, and brought it into centralized data warehouse.
Okay.
Axiom is used for reporting. Data already clean, data already transformed. Now you are ingesting it into Axiom, and Axiom is running its formulas, and then it is generating a number.
So, so is there any tool between data warehouse and Axiom tool ke beech mein? Do you use any other tool, or
just
it directly pulls from the data
mapping,
warehouse?
Just the mapping. Just the mapping.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Imran. Thank you. I really bothered you a lot
I'll see you
today.
guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Imran, Aditi.
Thank you.
Sudha,
Imran,
how
Aditi.
are you? Hey, Aditi,
Hello.
what's going on? Sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to know. So, आज they will start क्या मेरा marketing?
Did someone call you from the marketing team?
अभी तो किसी ने call नहीं किया, Imran.
You will be getting a call. I think she got it. Sayara got it, so you will be getting as well. So wait करो थोड़ा सा.
Okay, fine.
Okay, you will be getting a call from your marketing person, and he'll be guiding you everything.
ओके फाइन फाइन।
Okay.
और मुझे वो years चेंज करना था, उसमें ना 5 to 8 लिखना है, वो 10 हटा के 5 to 8 years वो चेंज करना है। तो वो ड्राइव में चेंज कर दूं क्या अभी?
नहीं, जब वो मार्केटिंग पर्सन से बात करोगी ना तो उसे बता देना कि आई एम सेंडिंग यू माय अपडेटेड रेज्यूमे, सो इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग 5 to 8 8 ही लिखना।
8 ही लिखूं, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है। ओके, थैंक यू इमरान, थैंक यू।
Everything.
Imran, bye. I'm leaving. Thank you.
Okay, I'll tell you if I get something from Sahas.
Follow up with Sahas.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Alright, Sudha. So you
Hi,
want to
Imran.
go through your whole resume and see if we need to make any adjustments. Okay. Bernetta, did you
Yes.
get any feedback yet or no?
Imran, I'm thinking that they may wanted somebody to start this week, and I'm not sure if they thought they had enough information, even though they said they had enough to make a decision. I'm not sure if they got enough of what they wanted.
Okay, I think it's because of all that distortion, so that could be one reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
I
I have
think
3
so
to 4
too.
more points in this, okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sudha, you there?
All right.
Yes, Imran. I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, you got it?
You don't want to. I'm sorry. You
I'll
don't
do
want
that.
to talk to me anymore today, do you?
No, Bernetta. If you have any question, you can please ask me.
Okay then. All right. Not for today. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Bernetta. All the best. Okay, this is good. This is good.
Imran, do you want me to keep this work authorization thing or remove it?
No, keep it.
Okay. So you don't want the year, okay? Okay, Imran, what I did was I tried to log in into Bank of America. I just wanted to see what that app is, but I just did not understand anything in the here. It says Bank of America project and again enterprise accounting opening. So is this enterprise account opening an app in the Bank of America thing? What is it? I do not understand.
So EOA is the app. They're calling it as an app, Enterprise Account Opening System. They already had a legacy system which they're replacing with this new application, and this application will support different types of account openings. For example, accounts relating to different types of investments, mutual funds, bond funds. It could be, hold on one second, AGMA, retirement accounts, college tuition plans, anything like that. And when you talk about account opening, it's basically a system which is designed for the wealth managers or fund managers who basically, when they're onboarding these clients, they can do CDD, EDD, risk scoring, everything in this system itself from scratch, from starting point. So there would be a workflow for account onboarding for every single account as well. Like for a retirement account or for a college tuition plan or for a 401k plan, what kind of workflow would be there? That, for instance, what kind of information will be asked from customer on CDD and EDD, and then onboarding criteria, what is going to be. So that basically is the overall application goal.
Okay, so I'll have to understand what what are the requirements needed? I mean, if I have to open an account, say a retirement plan account or a 401 account, do I need to really get into, what are the fields that would be there? Or now in this project, whatever they say about, equity.
You don't need to know every single accounts field. Mainly there are pages. For example, there's going to be first page called basic information page. Where they'll be asking basic information, then they will move to next page and they'll start asking employment information, then they'll move to next page, they'll ask about financial suitability, then next screen, how are you going to fund this account, what are going to be your source of incomes and all that.
Right.
So I'm going to send you that process flow I have created for a KYC system back in DSC brokerage solution.
Yeah, this I have it. I have it.
Oh, you have it. That's it. Then just go through that. Just go through that.
I basically could relate whatever you said just now to, when I opened an E-Trade account here, it was asking me the questions first about my personal information and then about my employment and then about what I know about the capital markets and then where will I get the funding from. This I understood.
Hold on one
second. And this part in this,
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever they talk about here, the financial products, I put only whatever I understood. Like I know what are equity funds, what are bond funds, what are mutual funds. IRA is your, I mean, I've heard people talking, whoever is employed talks about IRA. So I really don't know the full form of IRA.
Yeah, it's a basic investment plan. It's called investment, what is that? Okay, just not coming in my mind right now. It's a basic investment account. Hold on one second.
Okay. Traditional IRA account. I tried Googling everywhere it says, I mean, it didn't give me the full form, abbreviation.
Registered as an investment advisor with the help of NRS. Okay. So you act as your own investment advisor without any solicitation. You open account, you hold that account. You basically are somebody who's coming with some experience in the investments and you want them to only open account and provide you with the platform, but you really don't need services of an investment advisor here. So you don't have to pay fees and all that.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So now I have this project that I have selected. So how do I go about? I mean, these responsibilities, yes, I understand. It's talking about, what I did, documentation and all that I understood. The ETL part, I'm not really comfortable with ETL. So I just striked it off. So do you want me to put it or?
No, why are you not comfortable? Are you comfortable with data mapping?
Yeah, after today's session, yes, I understood that. I mean, it's a little more clear.
ETL is done by ETL team. You only need to provide them with a map that this is where your data is and you need to extract it. So when you say...
Yeah, data mapping, yes, I'm clear with that. I explained that today, so I'm clear with that.
So when you say you designed an application, enterprise onboarding solution or account opening solution, that means you are getting data from different sources. Okay? You have data in your basic databases, you have data coming from your maybe third parties who are providing information on that client. So you are basically integrating this solution with multiple other sources. So when you're integrating one solution with other multiple application or multiple databases, then definitely your application will not be able to accept the different data feeds. And you need to have a process called ETL so that your team can transform all the data coming from different applications or different systems into one unique format. For example, one of your systems store data of currency in pounds and one of your systems store data of currency in dollars. So when you're ingesting these both currency informations into this onboarding solution or any application, it will not be able to understand. So either you have to have the whole data in pounds or have to have whole data in this dollars. Same concept is with date of birth. Whenever you work in a global bank, they have operations across the globe. For example, let's take example of JP
Formats
Morgan.
would be different everywhere.
Date of birth formats are different. currency formats are different, date and time formats are different, then the storing procedures are different, filing formats are different. So there are multiple criteria. So that is the reason we need to run through ETL process.
Okay, so I'll keep that. Yeah. And but okay, the period I have mentioned is from March 2020 to current. So this was an old one in the resume that I saw. This was done long back. So is there anything else? I mean, should I just change the
No.
updated
What
the
I will
system
do is
or
once we do 2-3 mocks, then I'll be able to understand what is your stronghold. Okay. So accordingly, we can adjust these projects first, second, or third. We can do some switch on it. But right now, I want you to do as is. Because the benefit of it would be, let's suppose even you want to put this project as third, but when you are putting it as first right now, you'll be putting more effort on it, so you'll make more understanding. And let's suppose this is your fourth project and you're not putting focus on it right now, but I might put this project as your second, so that means you have to redo it. So it's just a practice I want to do. Right now order is not important. Right now information is important, how much information we can gather for all these projects. Okay. Enterprise account onboarding will complete replacing existing legacy system, update database, and implement financial products modules, equities, funds, data to create single client profile. Merge client financials. Merge client financials focus on defining business strategies that delivers a complete integrated wealth management for clients, make it easier for others to conduct business with. Yeah, it's a very simple project. Second project is ABN AMRO provides integrated solution to investor, asset manager, broker, worldwide. The was to implement comprehensive trading and reporting platform for asset management business. The platform reports investments, performance, executes, record trades, equity, fixed income, and derivatives on the list of OTC. The platform enables the users to simultaneously trade a comprehensive set of security, track, and night. Okay. What is your understanding on this? Any question on this one?
No, I have selected both based on the capital market, so I'm comfortable with capital market.
Okay.
Right.
Let's move to your third.
I have just taken 2 in US because I moved here in
एक और ले लो. Citibank. हाँ ठीक है ऑफशोर ले लिया सही है.
Citibank.
हाँ इसका स्क्रिप्ट मिल गया था. फिक्स्ड इनकम ऑर्डर मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम आई सेंट यू.
हाँ scripts है. I mean I've read all the script but I was not able to relate. I am just doing that again.
ठीक है.
बहुत सारे थे तो
जब आप मेरे से मॉक करोगी ना कल ना आपके फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट का या सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट का मॉक करते हैं. जब आप मॉक करोगी ना तो देन आई विल बी एबल टू आस्क यू सम रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चंस and then based on those questions we'll be able to identify क्या areas हैं जहाँ पे we have to work more.
Okay, can we try one now?
नहीं कल करते हैं फ्रेश
okay okay so
मैं भी
I'll
रेज़्यूमे फाइनल कर लूँ आपका.
okay
एक काम करें आप. Try to rephrase these projects if possible today. The project statement.
Okay.
Can you rephrase them because maybe same statements are given in other resumes as well. So I would like you to have your own statement. ठीक है? So just come up with some words which will define your project statement. So only these things. Just make it a bit different.
ठीक है.
पैराफ्रेज कर दो, rephrase कर दो इसको. जैसे बेहतर समझती हो. शॉर्ट करना है थोड़ा सा शॉर्ट कर दो, ज्यादा करना है ज्यादा कर दो, लेकिन थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट कर दो स्टेटमेंट को.
सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स में करूं या you're talking about the
recent 3 से 4 तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो देख लो जिसमें कर सकती हो.
Okay, I'll do that then. I have totally there are 5 that I have taken projects, 1 2 here and 3 in India, because India maybe only from 2014 I have showed as an BA.
ठीक है. ठीक है. Okay, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll have to prepare on the introduction and the first project for the mock tomorrow.
Yeah, if you can do second as well, that'll be great.
Okay, and when I say when I have to prepare, so basically, you know, you're going to ask me like what BA questions, right? So more or less it's going to be that.
सरप्राइज है आपके लिए मैं क्या पूछूंगा.
Okay.
ठीक है. Don't worry. Tomorrow you would know the questions.
Okay.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, Imran.
All right. Let me know if anything. Text me, please. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Take care.
Sure.
Bye.
Thanks.